Hello, everybody. Welcome to Food for Thought. It is Anthony Stewart. We are into September. It is September 8th of the year 2022. And I want to, first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome the new subscribers to the channel. We're getting up there. Crazy. Thank you very much for subscribing. Please share these videos if you find that they might help somebody. And the object of this channel is coming from a nutritional, health, wellness perspective. We are questioning everything they've ever said because they say a lot of crazy stuff. And lately in the news, I just wanted to check in with everybody, and I'm going to try and be sensitive. I try not to be political, and I try not to get too far either way on that side of things. I'm more focused on sharing my opinion. I am not a doctor or a scientist, but I have been on an extensive health journey for about 3 years, and I have found some great results. And I have incorporated a carnivorous, animal-based diet, and things are feeling good, looking good. I'm feeling great every day, which is great, and that's the goal. I believe everybody should be on a quest to feel great every day. If you wake up being grateful to be alive and happy to be alive, and you know, and that's what we're here to do. Now, some disheartening news over the last few days, and I'm gonna try and dance around this without trying to get censored or trying to get blacklisted or in any way. But pretty much, they tell us to trust the science. And it seems to be an ever-changing narrative where, the science is changing, and science in itself is questions. So if you can't question, then you can't have science, really. You pose a hypothesis, you test it, and then you come to a conclusion. And based on that hypothesis, if it's true or not. And, all through the last few years, we've been inundated with this, crazy situation in the world where, people tell you to do this. People, anybody who talks against the narrative is, excommunicated from society and blacklisted. And now all these things are turning out to be true. And what my job is to inject a bit of logic. And I want to dig into this a little bit. Now, this is touchy because now they have a new thing coming out that you're going to have to make a choice. And I know this thing, and it's on the news, it's everywhere now, has only been tested on mice. Now my question is that enough to deem it safe for us to use or get? And it's really hard to think of this from a logical perspective that it is. Because I've noticed a few things, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't even know if I have to say it. But 2 or 3 years ago, everybody was scared, looking for a way out of this. And fair enough. People are on the ropes. They don't know what to do. There's a lot of, whether you call it propaganda, through the mainstream media, through the scientists. There was also very intelligent people that were blacklisted, deemed anti-this or, anti-democratic or, God forbid, a Trump supporter. And now that you can't hide it. The data's there, guys. There's so much data out there now that is proving that we may have not done things properly, adequately, maybe even safely. Now, we can't change the past, but what we can do is look to the future. Now, what I've noticed is pretty much this. Like a lot of things, the end result is not justifying the means now. Because we had something 2 years ago, and they knew that this thing affected the at-risk dominant groups were the aged, the immunocompromised, and already sick or, autoimmune issues or, the people that were at risk, they knew this. Yet we blanketed everybody with the same protocol and mandated it, pretty much made it your responsibility to protect everybody else by doing it. And I'm going to say it without thorough clinical testing. Now, if you've seen my channel like in the past and you've heard about what I feel about clinical trials, and there is people out there that understand how these things are have to be controlled, and randomized, controlled, double-blinded, crossover trial, gold standard of science. Yet this is thrown out the window, and it's pure speculation, let alone data that hasn't been let out to the public, which, these are flags. And I'm not trying to prove this or prove that. I'm not trying to influence you in any way. I am encouraging you, based on logic, reason, your situation, your health status, make an educated decision based on your own needs. It's up to nobody else to protect you. It's up to you to protect yourself. Now, I have bias, I have opinion, but the most important thing is don't give up the ability to search for yourself and come up with your own way to deal with your own situation. Now, I'll say it again. If you're scared, learn about it. There's a lot of information out there, and you're going to have to weed through some noise because it's not all up front and in your face. One side will tell you something, another side will tell you something else. Now, what I find, and, cognitive dissonance, and there's something in cognitive behavioral therapy that is like a good, better, a best case scenario, worst case scenario, and what most likely will happen. And if you use this sort of way to kind of look at the extremes, look at what's most likely, and come up with something on your own, and anything that's driven by financial agendas, profiteering, and money, I would argue that superficially they don't have your best interest in mind. And it's becoming very apparent that there is a distribution of wealth shifting. And that's something to be noted and, take into consideration. It's not an easy thing to grasp that the powers that be that were deemed here to help you may not be doing it. Now, I don't know if they're trying to harm you, which I hope to God that's not true. But there's some crazy confounding factors and some crazy stuff out there that are steering us towards decisions that might not be right. Now, I don't care what you've done. I care about how you feel right now. And your health should be paramount in this day and age, specifically of what's coming next. Because we're here in Vancouver, the sun is shining, but soon it will not be. Now, get out in the sun as much as you can. Now we know vitamin D is a factor. All the deniers that said, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It helps your immune system function. You need to be sufficient, let alone optimal, in vitamin D. And the downside doesn't even justify not being sufficient. So get out in the sun. Now, we know now all the drugs that they said worked don't, and all the drugs that they said don't work are now becoming protocols for treatment. Where does that leave us? And I know I myself included, there's a bit of miscommunication going on here where, it's so easy to jump on the bandwagon. But this is serious when it comes to your own health. And your immune system can be strengthened. Now, if we know that the aged, most people, you can't really do much about that risk group, but the immunocompromised and the comorbidities these are things that you can affect. So if you can weaken your immune system, if you have an autoimmune condition, it will be in your best interest to start thinking about trying to get your immune system up and running optimally. And that's kind of all I'm saying is before we start relying on a magic pill to save us, protect yourself. Exercise. It doesn't have to be hours and hours at the gym. Going for a walk, getting outside, getting sunlight is essential to human life. We've been doing this for millions of years. And I don't know how now all of a sudden the sun is bad for us. I would argue that that our dietary, our diets that have been man-made and produced might have something to do with the environmental shift on how we're not able to take in the environment as well. Chemicals, toxins, pesticides. Nutrition is one of the best ways that you can start this now. And everybody out there will say plant-based and, drop your cholesterol and watch your salt. This is all context. You cannot man-make a species-specific diet that is better than what we were destined and predetermined to eat. It is not possible. God and Mother Nature, or Mother Nature, they knew what they were doing. We've been here a long time, a lot longer than any pharmaceutical company or any processed food company or any supplement company. We got here because we ate species-specific food and gave our bodies nutrition to fight what was coming. And somehow we have completely abandoned all that, and we now rely on these corporations for our sustenance and our nutrition. And nutrition is not on the package. I've said it before. Nutrition is irrelevant. It goes into your mouth and into your cells. So what you're eating, your body doesn't care. It's either good for you or not good for you. It's pretty simple. So coming back to the immune system, these plant seed oils, vegetable oils, canola, safflower, sunflower, grapeseed, all these vegetable seed oils, it's shown now that they are volatile. They oxidize quickly. Your adipose tissue is made up of this stuff. It's going to be weaker. Now, I'm speculating here a bit, but some of the stuff that I've been researching into in the virology or immunology side of things, and how this specific virus attaches to us is the ACE2 receptor, the angiotensin sensing enzyme receptor 2. Now, I can't remember exactly who I heard it from, but the more adipose tissue you have, the more ACE2 receptors are bounded to them. So that would mean do what you can to maybe decrease your body fat percentage. Even if it's not, it's a good idea to do it, because the leaner you are, the more metabolic lean muscle you have, the more metabolic you are, the more forgiving your body will be. So it makes sense to start making little changes to boosting your immune system and get your fat percentage down. And I mean, I don't have all the answers, but I'm just wanting you to take this time, especially before the next season. This winter, this fall could be very, very, very interesting. Because now all this talk on the news about it's not over, we may have to, lockdowns, blah blah blah. Get ready for the worst. Hope for the best. And something that's going to happen is probably somewhere in the middle. Right? I'm starting to coach people with nutrition. And if you need help and you want another opinion, because it seems to me the public, everybody's doing those things that they're telling us to do. Cancer's up, heart disease is up, diabetes is up, obesity's up, ADHD, celiac, irritable bowel. All these diseases are on an autism. All of it is going up. Now, doing the same thing and expecting a different result sounds like insanity. So I'm here to help. If you leave a comment below and I can answer some questions, maybe give you a different opinion or a different outlook on something. And, always consult with your doctor. But remember, there's no pill. Diseases don't get cured by medication. That treats the symptoms. And sometimes you got to treat the symptoms. I'm not saying don't take pills. But there's things out there. And the science is changing. So now that Alzheimer's dementia thing where the drugs that it was fraudulent, that's just crazy. I know it's hard to take. The serotonin, the SSRIs don't even work on the same way that they were treating with depression and anxiety. I know it's hard to take. Cholesterol's been debunked, guys. They've silently said saturated fat is no longer a nutrient of concern in page 65 of the American Heart Association pamphlet. So remember, financial driven agendas should not be dictating your approach to your own health. All right? Leave a comment. If I can help you, I will gladly do it. Now, I don't believe you have to do exactly what I do, but I'm trying and I'm having great results at thinking outside the box. And, hopefully I can help some people. Stay strong.